Hey, what is up? We're going to be talking through how to lose 30 pounds in 6 months without having to go hungry, without having to log your food, and without having to give up all of your favorite meals. I'm going to be showing you a simple, proven nutrition system, which is the singular focused fat loss formula that will allow you to make small but specific and targeted changes that give you big results. I'm also going to be showing you the exact same strategy that I've personally used and have used with over 100 executives and business owners, most of them who are guys in their 40s and 50s who've been able to get in the best shape of their life even though they're still working 10 to 12 hours a day or traveling frequently. This is not about overhauling your entire life all overnight. It's about focusing in on just one impactful change at a time so that you can start seeing results like losing 1 to 2 pounds per week, having more energy every morning, and fitting better into your clothes. So whatever you do, do not leave this video and stick around. Make sure you stick around for the whole thing because I'm going to be giving you everything that you need to know in order to start losing body fat and building momentum today. Now, I get it. Do not take my word for it. I want to show you that I'm not just some random guy on the internet or some other fitness influencer that's going to tell you that you need to change everything about your life overnight and that's how you're going to get into great shape. This process has worked well for me and you're going to see it has worked well for so many other guys just like you. Let's take a look at some real life client examples. This is Matt. Matt over on the left-hand side, Matt was struggling with energy levels. Matt was actually dealing with some health issues that were starting to come up with his cholesterol, his A1C, and he just wasn't confident in the way that he looked. He hated taking his shirt off at his own backyard pool. In the course of the time that we worked together, he was able to drop 31 pounds in a course of about 6.5 months. On the right-hand side, after Matt and I finished working together, he had sent this over and he's dropped more weight and is at an all-time low. He's actually the leanest that he has been since he graduated college. And Matt is a CFO in his late 40s, about to turn 50, with 2 kids. This is Andrew. Andrew's a CEO, he's a dad, and Andrew's in his mid-40s. When Andrew and I first started working together over on the left-hand side, he had about 20 to 25 pounds that he wanted to lose. He was already working out 3 days a week with a personal trainer, but he wasn't losing any body fat. In the course of our time working together in 6 months, he was able to drop over 20 pounds of body fat and gain muscle along the way. You can tell he looks totally different. And I wanted to share this because this last photo over here on the right-hand side, this is a recent photo. Andrew and I haven't worked together for almost a year and a half, and he sent me this message out of the blue just saying, hey, thanks for getting me on track. And hey, by the way, I'm at almost 13% body fat and continuing to put on muscle. This isn't some flash in the pan strategy to help you lose weight quickly and then you struggle to try to keep it up on your own. And this is Ed over on the left-hand side. Ed is a CEO. He's in his mid-50s. He was working out on the Peloton 3 days a week before we started working out together and was just struggling because he frequently traveled and couldn't keep the weight off when he was away from home. Over the course of our time working together, he was able to drop over 30 pounds of body fat. And the crazy part is during our program, a majority of the program, his company was being acquired. So he was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and he was still able to see these results. And then we've got Grant over on the right-hand side. Grant's a father of 2. He's in his mid-40s, and he is on Zoom all day long. The reason that he started working with me is because he could not find a picture that he liked from his Zoom meetings. His top button was always too tight. He always felt like his chin was hanging over his collar. He just didn't like the way that he looked. And he was able to drop 30 pounds in only 3.5 months as we worked together. And the cool thing is he was still eating the same meals with his family. He wasn't making separate foods. He's on a bowling league where he wanted to have a couple beers and pizza on Tuesday nights. He was able to do all of this without having to totally give up on his lifestyle. And then we've got Aaron over on the left-hand side. He had a personal trainer. He was doing group classes, but his nutrition wasn't what it needed to be. We started making some nutrition tweaks, and you can tell he was packing on muscle. Dave on the right-hand side, Dave's a father. He's got 3 kids. He's in his early 40s, and Dave travels the country as a structural engineer, working on huge, massive projects. So he spends a lot of time away from home, and he never really knew how to manage his health while he was away. So when we worked together, he was able to drop in 12 months, he was able to drop
50 pounds. He comes home from his business trips energized. He's coming home with way more stamina and energy for his kids. And I'm going to talk about this more, but this is the exact same strategy that I personally used and developed that helped me get in the best shape of my life. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but what I showed you was just a handful of the stories and a handful of the people that I've worked with. This list can go on and on and on, but I promise whatever time constraints, whatever struggles that are keeping you from being in amazing shape right now, I have worked with. This is proof that you can get in amazing shape even if you're working long hours, even if you don't want to be logging your food, and even if you travel frequently. All right, these are even more, but let's get to it.
Now, before we dive in, I want to show you and share with you how I discovered the singular focused fat loss formula. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Jeremy. I'm a girl dad, I'm a husband, and I've been in the fitness and the nutrition space since 2014. And back then, when I first started, I was 20 pounds overweight, even though I was working out 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week and running half marathons on the side just to get more cardio. Regardless of how much I was working out, I still felt like that chubby middle school kid whenever I had to take my shirt off. And I just figured, well, I just have to work out harder and I would start seeing better results. I wish I would have realized it sooner, but I realized that that was the totally wrong mindset. No matter how much I exercised, nothing changed because I wasn't addressing my diet. So I went and I tried everything. I tried keto, meal replacement, paleo, calorie counting, you name it. I'd lose a few pounds, I'd gain it back. I was stuck because I did not have a clear and sustainable nutrition strategy, and I was just trying to do too many things at the same time. So I finally started to really take my nutrition seriously, not just trying to work out more, because that's where I was going to be able to see the best fat loss results. So I stopped trying to overhaul everything, and instead I tried to focus on one simple and impactful change at a time. And for me, that first thing was timing my meals around when I needed the energy most, like before my workouts or during the busiest parts of my day. So I stopped skipping meals and eating just as little as I could, and suddenly I realized I had more energy throughout my day and for my workouts. I was no longer overeating or binging later in the day because I was starving, and the scale finally started to move in the right direction. Now, it took me years to figure this out, years of relying on fitness alone, and then years trying to figure out how to fit nutrition into a sustainable lifestyle. But once I was able to nail that nutrition strategy, everything changed from there on out. I finally started losing weight. I was able to keep it off. I didn't have to log my food. I didn't feel restricted, and I was still able to have pizza nights with my family. And that's why in this program, we focus on nutrition first. Now, fitness is important, and I'll help you with that with simple and effective workouts, but without the right nutrition strategy, you will always feel stuck. Now, I've used this strategy, the singular focused fat loss formula, to help over 100 executives and business owners lose body fat, build muscle, and get in the best shape of their lives. And what I'm here for today is to help you to make sure that you can avoid the years of mistakes that I made so that you can start seeing results faster. Because you do not need to make drastic changes or spend endless hours working out to see results. The small and strategic shifts in your nutrition are the key to lasting fat loss. And I'm going to be showing you exactly how to make that happen.
In these next minutes, I'm going to walk you through the 3-phase system that I've developed, the singular focused fat loss formula, to be able to get sustainable fat loss while improving energy levels without having to log your food, do a bunch of tedious tasks, or feel overwhelmed. So first of all, we have to assess what your current habits are to figure out where we need to start. Then we'll address the most important priorities one at a time so that you can focus on what matters the most. And finally, we are going to adjust along the way using a feedback loop so that we can refine your progress and keep you on track. So let's dive in. And that first phase is the assess phase. It is all about finding your current baseline so that I can help meet you where you're currently at and create a targeted plan with your specific lifestyle and lifestyle factors in mind. We are going to be using the Nutrition Insight Audit, which I've developed to help get a snapshot of what your current eating habits are. Essentially, it's a day in the life. This process and this audit helps me find the gaps, the roadblocks, and some of the habits that you might currently be having that need to have the most attention so that we can make just small but strategic changes that are going to have the biggest impact right away. Now, how this works is it is very simple. We simply take photos 5 to 7 days of everything that you're eating and drinking. You don't have to worry about weighing, measuring, logging your food, simply taking photos. Now, this works really well because it doesn't require a lot of unnecessary tedious work. Unlike a lot of other plans that are going to require you to track every single thing that you eat or make drastic changes right off the bat, this simple starting spot and this approach is going to make sure that all we have to do is worry about those photos for the first few days. A lot of other diets and a lot of other nutrition plans, they seem to work for other people. And you might be seeing that a friend, a relative, somebody on Facebook, these diets work great for them, and then you go to do it and it doesn't work. The reason for that is because chances are you have long work hours, you've got frequent travel, and you need to be high energy and have that mental capacity to stay sharp day in and day out. Other people don't have all of those demands. So with this process, I'm going to remove any of the tedious work on your end so that you can get straight to the root of what's holding you back from weight loss. And this is the real only way that you can create and have a created customized plan for you and your specific lifestyles. Now, once we have the audit done and we know your starting spot, now it is time to address one thing at a time and address what really is going to matter. And this is really where the singular focus formula shines. The goal here is very simple. We want to work at one nutrition tasks at a time. By focusing on just one change, you're going to know exactly what's going to be leading you to results. This is going to help make sure that we're avoiding the need to juggle too many things at once. Like, you've probably started diets before where you had to count carbs, fats, proteins, you had to avoid certain processed foods, you had to drink a gallon of water, you had to follow these strict eating schedules. Instead, what I want to do with you is to focus on just one adjustment that is going to make the biggest difference. Plus, this means that you get to see why you're getting your results, because we can correlate the one adjustment to the result that you get, instead of thinking that you have to do 10 or 15 different things all in order to keep the weight off. So how does this work without having to log your food? Because one of the most tedious parts about traditional diets is logging food. It's why I see so many people fall off of diets, especially busy people, because they just can't keep up with all the tasks that they have to do. So with this method, we eliminate the need for that entirely. And here's how it works. Using the data from step number 1, all of the pictures that you would be sending me, I am able to identify the most impactful changes and the order of operation or the prioritization of how we need to tackle each one of those. And that could be adding specific food for more energy in your afternoon. It could be improving your meal time or simplifying portion sizes. By focusing on just one of those adjustments at a time, there's no need to track anything. This approach makes it very easy and very clear to see where your results are coming from without having to do the logging. Now, finally, step number 3. This is all about adjusting and refining your progress and your process. What we do is we use the real-time feedback loop that I've developed to help make sure that you can stay on track, avoid plateaus, and continue to make this process fit seamlessly into your lifestyle. I don't just pile on more and more tedious work. Instead, we focus on one thing that's giving you that highest return on your investment, and then we don't move on until we have that one adjustment solidified into your lifestyle. Now, I know you might be thinking, well, am I actually going to see any results if we're just doing one thing at a time? And how I want you to reframe this is, think of this as compounding interest. When we're able to make the right strategic adjustments and then execute them day in and day out and do that consistently, your results are going to far outperform any of the short, like flash in the pan style adjustments like trying to starve yourself, eating 12 or 1400 calories a day, or cutting carbs, or doing intermittent fasting, and then only having it last for a couple of weeks or maybe a month at best. So when we are able to do that, you can stick to this, and we continue to adjust and to adapt based on things that you have going on in real time. So if you have a business trip coming up, or you have a family vacation, or you know that your week is going to be absolutely slammed, we're able to adjust and give you the support that you need to make sure that you can be proactive to get through those instead of just keeping your fingers crossed and hoping that everything goes well. Now, I truly think that this last part, the removing the research and the second guessing, is the most important piece. We have to remove your second guessing. Now, think back to how many times you started a diet or you've started a workout plan, and then after a week or two, you're not really sure if you're getting any results, so you start to second guess whether or not it's actually working for you. Once that thought sneaks into your brain, most of the time you start to lose motivation, you start to lose some of the commitment and the confidence, and that's why it's so crucial to have an expert eye there along with you so that you can feel comfortable and confident knowing that what you're doing is actually going to get you to your end result. And truthfully, there's been so many times in my life that this lesson has been learned, and it's in why I invested in coaches and mentors in areas of my life that were really important to me and that I wanted to succeed. A few years ago, my wife and I, we decided that we wanted to start purchasing some duplexes, and we wanted to start adding into our investments. So I spent, thinking about it, I spent about 9 months watching a ton of YouTube videos. I was doing a lot of research, listening to podcasts like nonstop on this topic, and I learned a ton. But what I found was that so many of the things that I was watching and listening to, they had slightly different strategies and slightly different perspectives. So as I continued to do more and more research, what I found is that I was actually starting to second guess myself more, and I had less confidence in what I should be doing because I had so many different options. I literally froze and did nothing for almost a year because I didn't know what was actually going to help us buy our first property. So what I ended up doing, and my wife and I did this together, is we hired another husband and wife team who had already done the exact same thing that we wanted to do. So I spent a year researching and thinking and trying to do a lot of this on my own. And we hired this husband and wife team. And less than 3 months into starting the program, we had closed on our first duplex. And this just went to show me that the second guessing and the research was paralyzing. And what I needed to just do was find somebody that had already done what I wanted to do. And that's exactly what we do in this program because I've been where you are and I've worked with over 100 other people that have been exactly where you are too. So I can help make sure that this goes smooth and we don't have to rely on your own research and your own second guessing. Now, how logistically this adjustment process works. Let's talk through this. I want to tie in a little bit of the logging scenario, food logging, because there are a lot of people out there that say, hey, all you really need is to log your food and then you'll have 100% accountability. And I could not disagree with that more. Accountability should not mean that you are creating more work for yourself. So if the only way to hold yourself accountable is to be in and logging everything that you eat, that's not a long-term solution. What we really need to do is have this system set into place. Each week, we review your progress and we make tailored adjustments based on your specific needs. Whether that means that you're traveling, whether it's different family dynamics or maybe a hectic work schedule, I'm able to provide custom resources for you to help get you through those times. For example, if you know you're strapped on time and you don't have any time to do meal prep or you don't want to do any meal prep, then we develop some different resources to remove the need to meal prep altogether or give different recipes to help speed this up. Another example, and this happens with my clients often, they don't have time to eat a traditional meal, for lunch, for example. So what we do is we provide different snack ideas and send the exact links of the foods that they should be ordering. Or if you're traveling, we do some research and we find the best options to eat in the areas that you're going to, or how to manage airports and how to get through some of those travel hindrances. So let's do a real quick recap on the singular focus fat loss formula. First step is we need to assess your starting spot, and we do that with the Nutrition Insight Audit. Then we address one priority at a time. And this is where that singular focused fat loss formula really shines, because we just focus on that one thing at a time. And finally, we adjust your plan using real-time feedback loops so that it fits seamlessly into your life. This system ensures that you have steady progress without having all of the other tedious tasks, especially having to log your food. So what now? If you're still watching this, you really have three options. Number one, you don't do anything. You just keep doing what you're doing. Number two, you try to take everything that we learned here and implement it on your own. Chances are you see some results. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. Number three, you have a conversation and we figure out maybe this program is the right fit for what you're looking for. What I want to do now is just share a little bit more about what that program looks like and make sure that you have all the information that you need, because I've created this specific program for people that are just like you, people that want a clear and concise roadmap, people that do not want to mess around with trial and error, people that don't have a ton of time to spare but know that they're motivated and need to get into shape. So let's take a look at that. Let's pull back the curtain a little bit on the logistics on how the program works from a 1,000-foot overview. So as the program starts, we do an onboarding call. We use that time to create a clear path with actionable steps and take into consideration everything that you need in order to succeed in the first 7 to 10 days. This is where we start the assessment. This is where we get a baseline of where you are currently at so that we can make the right adjustments without overhauling everything all at once. And then we've got the live support calls. We use those live support calls to make sure that we can address any struggles that you either had in the previous week, and also be able to plan ahead for the upcoming week for things like travel, events, busy weeks that you have, to make sure that you are set up with everything you need for success. We remove all of the guesswork and are proactive on these calls. Now, they also do prevent plateaus, and they're what are able to help you stay on track, because we have those very focused 30-minute check-in calls along with an ongoing data-centered check-in form that I have developed, so that even on your craziest weeks or your weeks of travel, you are still able to get the support and the accountability that you need. Plus, you'll get app support. Inside of the app, you'll be prescribed your workout plan, a detailed game plan of what you need to be doing for your fitness routine, along with the defined action steps for the upcoming week or weeks. It's also where you can be tracking all of your progress, things like progress photos, things like daily weigh-ins. Plus, it has a live messaging feature that you can always be asking questions in between our calls. And it is the really one-stop shop for everything that you need to know in regards to this program. And finally, it's all about the support and progress tracking. This is where a lot of that accountability comes into play, and it's where we are able to implement that feedback loop that we had talked about previously. It's where we make the adjustments on a week-by-week basis in real time to make sure that you stay on track and continue to maintain momentum even when your schedule is crazy packed. And this is the 1,000-foot overview of what the program looks like from a logistics standpoint.
So guys, if this training helped you out at all, and you are that data-driven executive who already knows that they need to get into shape, you've got two options from here. Number one, you can take everything that I taught you and you can try to figure this out on your own. Chances are eventually you'll see some pretty good success with that. Or if you want help implementing this right now and getting results faster and with less guesswork, then go ahead and just click this link below. You're going to be prompted to fill out a quick form. You'll book a call directly on my calendar, and we'll talk about your goals, where you're at, and whether or not the program that I run could be the right fit for what you're looking for. So if you're sick of trying to do this on your own, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed, then this is for you, and just go ahead and book below. Because chances are you are already driven, but you just need the right plan. The absolute worst case scenario, you leave the call with some free value and some clarity on what's next for you. Best case scenario, you're gonna wake up every morning feeling more energized and finally looking and feeling the way that you want, just like all the clients that you saw earlier in this video. So go ahead, click that link below, and I hope to talk to you soon.